So I read 6 books in the book, 6 books. I read 6 books in the month of February. Some of them I actually read, and then some I read on my Kindle, and then some I listened to on audiobook. So let's get into it. The first book that I finished, I started this in January, but I ended up finishing in like the first week of February, was Heir of Fire in the Throne of Glass series. I have been loving this series. This book was a little bit slower. I decided to read Assassin's Blade third, so then this was the 4th book after that. This was a little bit slower, but it had a fantastic ending, and it made me want to pick up the next book really quickly, so I'm really happy about that. So then I read on my Kindle and I listened to on audiobook The Outlive by Peter Attia. That book was a nonfiction book. I really loved it. It's about the science of longevity, and it truly changed the way that I view exercise and health and wellness in terms of having a quality life as I get older. And that's something that I truly value a lot. So I'm really happy that I read and listened to that book, because I definitely think it changed my perspective on a lot of things. I listened to this book called Sit, Walk, Stand. It's a Christian nonfiction book about the Christian life, and in the Christian faith you sit, walk, and then stand. It was good. I enjoyed it. I think it was a little bit harder for me to understand just because of the language that is used in the book. It's like heavily theological, and that's something that I enjoy sometimes, but not all the time, and it was especially hard to listen to on audiobook. So I didn't give it a fantastic rating, but I can see myself picking it up again in the future. So then I started the Divine Rivals series, or Letters of Enchantment. I guess that's the name of the series. I'm not 100% sure, so let me know in the comments which one it is. But I started Divine Rivals. I read it on my Kindle. I loved this book. I love the fantasy of the book, and I love the way that it ended. Just such a good cliffhanger, and I was really excited to read the next book. So in between that, I read Yellowface, and I listened to this on audiobook, and what a crazy story. I love books where you can't really trust or you can't really enjoy the main character because they're flawed in some ways. So I gave that book, I think I gave the book 4 stars. Yeah, I gave it 4 stars. It was so interesting, and the audiobook was fantastic. I listened to it in a full day. I didn't feel like I had to pause it and listen to something else, or I didn't feel like I had to pause it and just like listen to music, because I sometimes do that. But yeah, Yellowface, 4 stars. It was so good. And then I listened to Ruthless Vows, which is the second part of the Letters of Enchantment. I gave this book 3 stars. It was fine. I listened to it on audiobook. I loved the first book so much more. I just feel like they wrapped up the whole thing at the end, and it just didn't really conclude in the way that I would have liked it to. But other than that, I think that series was really cute, and I love a 2-book series because this Throne of Glass is crazy. And I feel like I signed myself up for some sort of like marathon here, and I'm reading a bajillion books with a bajillion pages in them, with a bajillion characters, and it's overwhelming. So I'm happy that the Ruthless Vows and Divine Rivals were just duology. And those are all of the books that I read in February. Let me know what books I should read for March, and thank you for watching.